Hello, Chip GT here, and in this video we're going to install some undercab lighting for my cabinet. We're going to get the cabinet.xml file ready to go, and we're going to get everything set up for Dof Links. So without any further delay, let's coin in and push that start button. This turned out better than I could have imagined. All right, so first, I need to address the elephant in the room. I changed how many lights I'm gonna have for my underglow. I did an original estimate, and I changed this because I wanted it to be the same length as what the side rails were, so right at that 3.3 feet, and that came out to be about 62 pixels on each side. So moving forward, just know that I changed those. They're highlighted here in yellow. Those are the only two changes that I made to this electrical plan. It does kind of change what I'm gonna have as far as my extra goes, but I'm not too worried about that right now. First, I went ahead and I cut the two strips that I was going to be making to 62 pixels. And right here, you can see that I'm sticking them onto the undercab right now. I had some double-sided adhesive tape that I went ahead and ran. And I pulled the sticky off, and then I pulled the sticky off the back of these. That way I had extra stick, and they stood out a little bit and were a little more cushioned. As I went along, just like in the last video, there was bubbles on the backside of the adhesive on the LED strips. So using an X-Acto knife, I went ahead and just cut those bubbles and then laid them flat down on the other sticky as best I could. These 2 pixel strips are not just 2 individual 62 strips. We're going to do a daisy chain. So in the software, we're going to have a left side and a right side, but in reality, it's just one really long strip of LEDs that is 124 pixels long. So as I'm putting this on there, you're actually following the flow in which the number of pixels are. Pixel 1 starts in the back right-hand corner, comes all the way down to the front switch, and then pixel number 63 starts in the left front corner and goes to the back. That's the flow, and in the software, we're going to fix everything and set it up so they're 2 individual strips, but in reality, it's just one. As far as power management goes, we're going to inject power at pixel number 1, and we're going to inject power at 124. That's the tail end and the front end. And as I'm soldering these up, you'll see that I tucked the wires back into the holes that I drilled in the back of the cabinet. And here I am adding on the male and the female ends. So the male end is on the right side, which is where pixel number 1 is. The female is on the tail end side. I don't know if I'll ever hook anything else up over on this side, but if I do, it's there and it's available and ready to go. I will end up adding some wire clips to the front end there so that it's not dangling down eventually in the future. But for now, I'm just going to leave those there. Here is I hooked up my little Circuit Playground Express tester here. I could tell that at the tail end it was dimming down a little bit, so eventually I ended up realizing I needed to turn the 5-volt power on my cabinet, and I'll flip the switch. You may not be able to tell it, but I could tell immediately as soon as I turned the switch on that the lighting got a little bit brighter, and I decided I wanted to turn the lights off and kind of see how the undercab lighting looked. So here is the undercab lighting from an outside position. And I thought this looked pretty good. So now that we got that installed and ready to go, it's now time to switch over and get the cabinet.xml file ready to go and to get set up for Dof Links. In order to do everything that I'm about to show you, there are a couple prerequisites that you need to have in place and up and operational. And the first one is you have to have Baller Installer up and running and working. Next, you have to have Dof Links installed. Terry Red has a great guide out there. I'm giving you links to all these down in the description. It's under the Prerequisite Links. You must do this before we can move forward. And then also, if you've never set up an RGB pixel before on your cabinet, then you really need to follow Major Frenchie's guide, which I have a link down in the description to as well. If you set up your RGB pixels array the way that I did originally, where you hand jam in a script code into a notepad document, then you're going to need to go over here to Arnonzo's Tiny Tools webpage. There's a link down in the description. You're going to scroll all the way down to the very bottom where it's in English, and you're going to click download the Tiny Tools zip file right here. You're just going to open it and then before you double click it, you might need to disable Norton, or you need to add an exemption for this tool. It is a kosher tool, you don't need to worry about it, but at the same time, Norton will flag it as something that it does not like. So disable Norton, double click setup, it'll install it, it'll put it'll ask you where you want to install it. Put it in a place where you know you're going to be able to find it again, like your Vpin folder or your Dof Links folder. Create a separate folder just for tiny tools. And then once you have that installed, you're just going to click it and it will open up right here. And then you're also going to want to have the Dof Links config tool up and running. And you want to log in. If you don't have an account, create an account. It's really simple, but you'll log in and you're going to want to go to My Account, and then under your controller devices, you want to make sure that you have the appropriate number of controllers selected here. So if you have one, it's going to be one. If you have two, you're going to have two. All right, from here, we are going to go to Combine Toys, and this is my old setup. So if you look down here, output 1, I've got 3 LED RGBs, and then I've got 3 different combos up here. Each one of these combos is specifically for one particular string of lights. And over here, this is my plan for what I want to do. So now I need to create a couple of combos, but first let me explain them. So combo number 1 is for my matrix. And on my matrix, I have some effects on a back plate. I have back strobes. I have, just a back multicolor platform, and then a back beacon. So all of those combined, all those effects will also go onto the matrix and really create some really cool scenes and things like that. Combo number 2 is my right side rail lights, the 144 pixels on a 3-foot strip. And for this, all pinball machines have some kind of flashing array on the left side and on the right side. And what this does is it simulates that. So I have the right flashers on there, and then I have a launch ball option on there. And what that does is at the bottom of the strip, it gives you a little up and down effect to let you know, hey, you need to launch the ball. The other thing that this has is what's called right side effects. These are special effects that when people create the table, they want to have some extra effects for special mode or things like that. This generally doesn't have anything to do with a real pinball machine. This is more just some extra effects that the programmer decided to put into it. On the left side, I decided I just wanted the left effects and the left flashers. So flashers are something that's really on a pinball machine. These effects are just extra. Anything that says effect is extra. Anything else that says like strobe or flasher or calls out a specific pinball machine part is something that might be really in a pinball machine. So with that, we need to create a couple of new combos. So we're going to start and we're going to align with everything I have over here. We want to do it in a very specific order, and I'll explain why after we get the combos made. So first, we need to select RGB Addressable. This first one is going to be for the right speaker. And the only options that we have available to us with an RGB Addressable is what's in bold, and it normally has an MX at the end of it. So first we want to find the speaker MX. And then I don't have any MagnaSave lights built into my cabinet, so I figured let's go ahead, we'll do the right MagnaSave, and then let's see if there's anything else that we might want to combine here. I mean, this would be a good place if you wanted to have a flasher, you could, but it could get a little distracting. Maybe an extra ball light would be kind of fun on the speaker. And then when you're all done with how you want it set, you just hit add. Yep, I'm gonna add it. Okay, now we're gonna do left speaker, and we're gonna do the left speaker pretty similar, only instead of having a right MagnaSave, we're gonna have a left MagnaSave. So we'll come in here, we'll go all the way down the bottom, speaker, and for MagnaSave, we'll do left. And then let's see, so we had an extra ball on there. Let me see here. Sure, we'll just do another extra ball. We'll add it. Okay, so there's the speakers are done. Now we want some underglow, and we're gonna start on the right side and then go to the left side. It's the same thing with the backglow. All my lights are gonna come up on the right side of the pinball cabinet into the back box and into everything. So we always want to start on the right side rather than, and we'll end on the left side. So right underglow, so RGB addressable, and believe it or not, there should be an underglow undercab complex, so we'll do that. And then I'm thinking it'd be fun to have some of the right effects on there, so it'll mirror what's on the top of the playfield only underneath the cabinet. And I kind of like the idea of having the right flashers there. And then let's see if there's anything else that we want to put on here. Flipper button, no. I already got that. I think that's good. I think we'll keep that just like that for now. And you can always come in here and change these in the future if you want. So I'm just, once again, gonna come down here. We'll do some undercab. This is the left side, so we want the left side effects. Left effects, and then we'll do some left flashers, just for fun. And if, let's see here, left flashers, add, yep. All right, now, after that, we have the back glow on the right side, RGB addressable, and then we're gonna look for, let's do back flashers. So this will be on the back panel. And then I think that maybe having underglow here might be a good idea. And then this is going to be reflecting on the wall. Let's see here. Undercab, MagnaSafe, nah. Back. Ooh, back PBX. Yep, we'll have that. And then I think there were some strobes too for back strobes. Or beacon. Ooh, do we do beacon? So we got flashers, PBX. Yeah, let's do beacon. And then we'll add. And then this is the left side. And we'll do the same thing. We'll do some back flashers. We'll do the undercab because we want it to kind of emulate what's going on with the undercab. We'll do the back PBX, I think. Back PBX. And then we'll do back beacon again. Back beacon. Add. So it gives us a bunch of different combos. All right. Now that that's done, we need to go over to port assignment under the Dof Config tool. And we're going to select the WS2811. So there we go. There's my first two combos. So what's important here is the starting port. Okay. And that's going to line up with down here in the tool later on. But right now we need to focus on adding in those extra things. So we had right speaker is combo number 4. Left speaker is combo number 5. Oops. Combo number 5. Then combo number 6. Because we're doing these in order, you know, it makes it easy to do it in order. If you're doing it out of order, it might be a little bit different. But we're just assigning the ports for the lights, for the light strips. And then finally combo number 9. Okay. Now, at this point, we're all done with the Dof Config tool, so we can go ahead and hit Save Config. And we will generate our cabinet file. And now while that is going, this takes a little bit of time to get it going and generated. So now we're going to come down here and we're going to actually say what outputs our lights are on. Now, a lot of people will use one output per light, and I don't think that that's necessarily a good idea. You can daisy chain these lights almost forever as long as you're doing power injection. So think of the outputs kind of like a bus route. All right, you don't want one bus that drives all over your whole city. You need multiple buses that go to certain locations. All right, so one maybe goes to the front of the pinball cabinet, one goes to your underglow, one goes up to your back box, maybe one goes up to the front of your cabinet. That's my thinking behind this, and I think that that's the best way to do it. So just think of it like a bus route. I'm keeping my outputs based off of a location on my cabinet. So the matrix and the right sideboard, the left sideboard, those are kind of on the upper part of the cabinet, so you can have multiple lights on one bus. All right, so that's what I did for output number one. So output number one is going to go from the control board up to the upper part of my cabinet. And when we're doing this, we have our width and our height. So we are 32 pixels wide, 8 pixels high. All right. And then you really need to understand how your matrix works. So when you run your test code, you should follow the lights as they go up and down and all around. They have a pattern to them. And if you have a hard time figuring out what your pattern is, this tool is really great. It gives you some documentation to help you out with that. I'm not going to go into that. Terry Red does a great job of explaining all this. The key things, the key takeaways to know is that for all of these lights, they are not RGB, they are GRB. They always start with green because that's just the way that these chips work. So you want to make sure that your color order is GRB, and that'll put it in the correct order. And then your Swiss Lizard LED curve, you don't need to worry about that. I don't really mess with that. But in the previous video, I told you that there is a way to adjust your brightness on the board itself. And this is how you do that. So we can adjust our brightness to 80%. I gave my matrix a name of matrix. This just makes it easy for you to tell what light fixture you're working on. And then this is where you need to worry about your DoF output port. So port 1 is my matrix. Up here, port 1 is my matrix. We are now assigning each light a specific port that DoF will understand. All right. So for the sideboard lights, it's the same thing. Width, the pixel width is only 1, but we have a height of 144. And the way that my cabinet works is it starts on the right side, comes down, and then the daisy chain continues over on the front and goes back. So for the right side, we are going to do top down, right side first, then left. All right. Then we have the GRB selected, 80%. I gave it a name of sideboard right. DoF output is number 4 because these 3 ports are ports for the red, green, and blue. So we're starting on port number 4 for this combo package. All right. Left side is very similar to the right, but instead of having a top down right to left, we are going bottom up, left to right. Same thing again. Width is 1, pixel height is 144, and gave it the name sideboard left, 80% power curve, and then port number 7. All right. Now for output number 2, I'm going to make this all of my backbox toys. That's why I had the lights and the backbox lights on there. So we are going to add new. We're going to start with this. I'm just going to give it a name so I remember what I'm working with. So right speaker panel. Okay, now this is also a width of 1, but there is a total of 37 lights. So we will have a height of 37, and it starts on the right side and goes up. So we want to go right to left, top down. I think that should work. If not, we'll come back and we'll fix it. It's not a big problem. But this is going to be combo number 4, which is port number 10. We're going to adjust the brightness to 80, And then we need to make sure after you change the LED arrangement, it'll always reconfigure back to RGB. We want to make sure that it is GRB. And then that one is done. So now we'll click again here, create a new toy. Width is 1, 37. Now this one starts on the left side and goes up. So see how it kind of selected left to right, top down? That's what we want for now. And we'll see how that looks. And if we need to change that, we can change it later. And then once again, GRB, we'll go 80%. And we'll call this left speaker panel. And it is combo number 5 at port 13. Okay. Now, next is the underglow, but that's going to be on output 3. We're going to come back to output 2 here in a minute. So, new toy, and this is going to be a width of 1, but we have 62 pixels. And this is also a top down, right to left. It's going to mirror what we have for the sideboard lights, and we're just going to call this right under glow. And then that is combo number 6 at port 16. Just double checking we got everything right here. Oh, yep, brightness 80%. Okay, that one's done. We'll add the next underglow. Same thing, width 1, height 62. This one will start at the bottom, so it'll be bottom up, left to right. We will do 80%. And then we've got to change this back to GRB. This is left underglow, and it is combo number 7 on port 19. Now, I want to make sure that these mirror what I have for the sideboard. So top, down, right, left, top, down, right, left, bottom, up, right, left, bottom, up, yep, bottom, up, left, right, bottom, up, left, right. So those should look identical. Next, we have the backbox glow. This is going to be a daisy chain off the speakers. This is in the backbox, so this is going to be output number 2. So we're going to add a new addressable toy. Its width is going to be 1. The height is going to be 40. We're going to call this, well, this, yeah, we'll call it right. Right. Back box glow. And this is going to be combo number 8 on port 22. 80% brightness. GRB. And this is going to start in the bottom right hand corner and go up. So we will do bottom up, right to left, and then we'll carry the daisy chain from the top upper corner over, and then we'll come down for the next one. So we'll add new toy. Same thing, 40, only this time it's going to be top down, left to right, 80%, GRB, and we'll call this left back box glow. And that is combo number 9. And that is port 25. Now, we may decide to move these two down to output number 4 once we get everything all hooked up, but for the intent of this tool, I think we've got everything set up correctly. We'll hit save cabinet. So whenever I do a save, I do it by the date, so I'll just do 4_1123. Save. And then we're going to export the cabinet file I'm just going to save it right to my desktop, and I already have my old cabinet.xml file here. So I'm just going to replace it. Yep, replaced. And when you do these, when you do this Tiny Tools, if you get an error from Norton, just add an exception or disable Norton, and you'll have to do it again, just in case you didn't do that. And then now we should have, there it is, our direct output.zip. So I'm going to go ahead and open this. I'm just going to put it off to the side here. And I think we are done with the Tiny Tools. We got everything we need for that. We got everything we need for this. So I'm going to close those, and we are going to open up. And we're going to go into the direct output folder, and then under config, I always back up what I know is working. So I went ahead, I already backed up all the files that we're going to replace here. So all of these are for my controllers. I have 3 controllers, but I'm only showing you how to set up one. So any file that's in here, you're just going to copy, direct shapes, table mappings. I copy those and the cabinet file. So we're just going to hit copy, and then we're going to paste them into a backup folder. I'll create a new folder for today. So for underscore 1123. And we'll just paste those in there. That way I know that this one works. I know that this one works. So we just wanted to copy all that, select them all, drag, drop, replace. And then the cabinet file that's on the desktop, drag, drop, replace. I think we're at a point where I need to cut this video here. I'm working on the backbox for in the next video, and as soon as we have that ready and up and operational, we'll be able to test all of our lights. We'll be able to test the cabinet file, make sure everything is working properly. That will be the next video. If you found this video helpful in any way, please give it a like, please subscribe, please ring the bell so you know when the next video comes out. Thank you everyone for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.